Welcome. In front of me is a Realme C67, and today I'll go around unboxing along with a quick look at the device itself. Okay, so let's get started by just popping it open. I'm doing so, I am going to mention that there's two versions of this device. There is the C67 and C67 4G. Now these will actually differ in price and also in specifications, even though technically in name they only differ by the 4G version. So 4G actually comes with a Snapdragon compared to this one, which will come with a Dimensity 6100 Plus. Now, if I'm correct about this, based on like the info that I checked, this version, which is actually cheaper as well, with the Dimensity, is actually faster than the Snapdragon version, even though the Snapdragon is more expensive. So this actually seems like a better deal all in all. And anyway, let's just pop the box open and get our clear case, phone. Now this actually looks to be the other one, the actual 4G version of this device. Let me quickly check the model. So this is the RMX 3890. Search for it. And I'm checking if everything is correct. Yep, so this is actually the Snapdragon version. So this is the 4G version, not the, which in this case comes with a Snapdragon processor. So let me quickly check something. I am gonna look at the box. There we go. And here we have basically no info about it. I am also gonna check something else, comparison between these two. They are, if I'm correct, roughly about the same. Oh no, never mind, they're not. Okay, so I'm gonna give the two specs just for people that might be wondering. But in any case, let's continue. In the box, we get a charger, which is pretty nice. A little bit dirty out of the box for some reason. Get that gunk off of it. It's a 33 watt charger, so that's pretty nice. And get the charging cable. This is a Type A to Type C. So there we go. Now, I'm gonna test fit the case just so we can see how it looks like. Protects the lenses. That's pretty nice. And fits as you would expect. Let's get rid of it. Okay, so starting off with the display, this is a 6.72 inch display running a resolution of 1080p by 1080 by 2400 pixels. It is LCD IPS at 90 Hz with a typical brightness of about 800 nits, so it doesn't get too bright. It also boasts an 87% screen to body ratio with about a little bit low 400 pixels per inch. It is running on Android 14, powered by a Snapdragon 685, 5000 mAh battery, and 8 GB of RAM, with either 128 GB of storage or 256, depending on which version you have gotten. And I got the 256. Yeah. Now, moving to the cameras at the back, we have a dual camera setup. But again, by the looks of it, we have a shit cam, which is this one. I don't even need to check the specs. I can already see based on the actual lens size. So the main sensor is a whopping 108 megapixels wide sensor, and then below that we have, there we go, a shit cam 2 megapixel depth camera, which is absolutely useless. Fantastic. Then at the front we got a 8 megapixel wide sensor, and with both either front or back you can record a maximum at 1080p 30 frames. Okay, now moving on to the build. The build is pretty budget, as you could probably expect from the price. We have a fingerprint sensor mount as a power button on a plastic frame, plastic back, obviously glass front. We also have what looks to be a microphone hole at the top, no IR blaster unfortunately. Then on the left side we have our SIM tray / I believe SD tray. Yep, There we go. So we have dual SIM card support along with a dedicated SD card. So that's pretty nice. At the bottom, we have our headphone jack. We got another microphone, a charging port, and a speaker grill. And then, well, we already seen the right side. So there we go. Now, with that being said, I am gonna also quickly run down the specs of the Dimensity version of this device, the non-4G version. So quickly, display is the same, but it differs in terms of the processor, which is the Dimensity 6100 Plus. It comes either with 4 or 6 gigabytes of RAM, with both cases being an 128 gigabytes storage variant. Camera-wise, 50 megapixel over the 108 that this one has, and 2 megapixel depth as well. 8 megapixel selfie. Interestingly enough, the display that is on the non-4G version is apparently running at 120 Hz refresh rate compared to this one, which is at 90. But it's also an LCD IPS display with a lower peak brightness of about 550 over this one's 800. And display size is the same, resolution is the same, so not much difference there. And yeah, that's basically the primary difference between these two devices, the storage, RAM, and processor, along with the camera. So just wanted to kind of give that kind of point there, just because technically they're both named C67, just the one that I have is the 4G, which has a different processor and different specs. Chances are, which I'm just kind of spitballing right here, that these two devices, you might not have a choice between them. So you either will have the C67, whatever you are, and that might be the 4G or non-4G version, depending on where you're buying it, and it might just be region locked. So in Europe, it looks like I am getting the Snapdragon version compared to probably some other places which will get the other version. Considering the non-4G version, as in rupees, I assume it's just locked to India. So that might be the case. It's also cheaper a little bit. But anyway, with that being said, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.